Hi, my name is Mr. Crone, and welcome again to Zombie Latin. Today we'll be talking about the 5 Latin cases, what they are, and how to form them. So we said in the previous video that English had 2 cases for normal nouns and 3 cases for pronouns. Latin, we shall see, has 5 different cases. You'll want to take notes from the following slides. So we said that the 3 English pronoun cases were the subjective, possessive, and objective cases. The subjective case will correspond exactly to the Latin nominative case and will be used for subjects and predicate nominatives. So whenever we have a subject or a predicate nominative, the form it will take will be the nominative form. The possessive case is going to correspond to the genitive case in Latin for possession. The objective case will be split up 3 ways, however, into Latin. We will have the dative case for indirect objects. The Latin accusative case will handle direct objects and some prepositional objects. And the ablative case will be for most prepositional objects. We'll abbreviate these as nom, gen, dat, ac, and able, and we'll always list them in the same order. Now, just as we made a table of the English nouns, singular and plural, in a way that we could predict their forms with nominative on top and possessive on the bottom, we can make similar tables for Latin nouns. Now, there are 5 different patterns of noun forms in Latin, and we call each pattern a declension. Write that down. A declension is a predictable pattern of noun forms in Latin and in other languages. Latin has 5 different declensions or patterns of noun forms, and today we'll be just studying the nouns of the first declension. So let's set up this table. Make sure that you write these notes down. First declension endings. We'll set up our table with singular on the left and plural on the right. And down the left side we'll list nom, gen, dat, ac, and able. The endings we'll fill in will be an A for the nominative singular, AE for the genitive singular, AE for the dative singular, and AM for the accusative singular. Now, for the ablative singular, we'll be writing in an A with a long mark. See that line right above the A? That is what we call either a long mark or a macron. These long marks indicate a long vowel in Latin. Even though we talk about long and short vowels in English, this is one of the times when I'm going to use a very different model from your English teacher. English doesn't actually have long versus short vowels. Rather, what it has are vowels which vary in quality. Latin vowels varied in quantity, in size, whether they were long or short. And macrons are how we mark whether that was a long or a short vowel for them. Now, the Romans could hear the difference between these long and short vowels, but we as English speakers can't. So for most pronunciation for us, whether it has that macron above the A is not going to make a pronounceable difference for us. But on the written page, we must know specifically this one long mark. Just the one. There are going to be other long marks in the first declension, but we don't need to know those. Just this one, so that we can tell it apart from the nominative singular. The plural is going to start with AE. The genitive plural will be aurum. The dative plural, is. Notice how we pronounce that S with S at the end, not Z. So it's is. The accusative plural, os. And the ablative plural, is. Those long marks in the plural column are not macrons, which we are going to be responsible for. We're only responsible for, again, the ablative singular. We can practice applying these forms by declining a noun according to this chart. Let's start with the word femina. Now, every noun has a stem, which is also called a root or a base. To decline the word femina, we'll have to detach the letter A from the end of it to get femina's stem, simply femin. Then, we'll fill in a new chart with femin all the way down. Once we've done that, we'll attach the endings from our first declension endings chart, and so we'll get femina, feminae, feminae, feminam, femina, and then in the plural we'll get feminae, feminarum, feminis, feminas, feminis. Try this on your own in your notes. Try to decline the following words that I'm about to give you. Remember to first find the stems and then attach the endings. I'll give you answers after a few pauses so that if you're having trouble, you can check and see what the answers are supposed to be. So first, find the stems for each of these four words. Aqua, poeta, puella, provincia, lingua, and natura. If you got the stems right, you should have gotten the stems AQU, POET, PUELL, PROVINCI, LINGU, and NATUR. So once again, set these up like you did in the chart for femina and apply the first declension endings to them. If you do it properly, then they should wind up looking like this. Aqua, aquae, aquae, aquam, aqua. Don't forget the long mark over the A in the ablative singular. And then in the plural, it would be aquae, aquarum, aquis, aquas, aquis. For poeta, you would get poeta, poetae, poetae, poetam, poeta. Once again, macron over the A in the ablative singular. Poetae, poetarum, poetis, poetas, poetis. Puella would decline as puella, puellae, puellae, puellam, puella, puellae, puellarum, puellis, puellas, puellis. Provincia would decline provincia, provinciae, provinciae, provinciam, provincia, provinciae, provinciarum, provinciis. Notice how we have one I from the stem and one I from the ending, which we have attached. Provincias, provinciis. For lingua, we should get lingua, linguae, linguae, linguam, lingua. And then in the plural, linguae, linguarum, linguis, linguas, linguis. And then finally, we would get natura, naturae, naturae, naturam, natura, naturae, naturarum, naturis, naturas, naturis. In order to aid your memorization of these forms, try practicing them out loud a number of times. So thank you for watching. In the next video, we'll talk about how to pair up noun forms with a few basic verb forms in order to form some simple sentences. Well, later.